NetsBoy, so let's hear what he has to say. His name is NetsBoy, he thinks the world is all over when the Nets just can't play.
What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here, bringing your latest in your Brooklyn Nets news. All right, so we are officially 15 games in to this new NBA season, and the Nets, I'm gonna be honest, playing pretty well. They're currently 6-9, and I know 3 games under 500 is objectively not something you really want to be in the NBA, but I really feel like for this Nets team and the way things have happened, it's pretty good. And it's been 7 games since my last Nets Boy episode because that's what I've been doing. I kind of been stretching these episodes apart because I don't have a lot of time filming them, as I say every episode. But anyway, they've been 7 games since the last episode, and the Nets went 2-5. And you know what? I'd absolutely take that 2-5 stretch because when you look at the teams that they played, the Celtics twice, the Knicks twice, the Cavaliers, which just lost for the first time the other night, like I will take 2-5, and I will take 6-9 for this Nets team. And when you look at this team as a whole, there's just one thing that continues to stand out. They are a tough, gritty team. Nothing showed me more of this than the Nets' impressive, and I mean it was very impressive, win against the Hornets, which was just the other night. No Cam Thomas because of a late back injury. He was scratched right before the game started. No Nick Claxton, also because of a back injury, and he's going to miss a couple more games probably. And this team was down 17 and just looked like they were just lost. And then they got it together and came back and not only made up the deficit, managed to win and beat the Hornets by 1 and a hard-fought, tough, gritty game. And I mean, when you look at it, I mean, this Nets team is getting contribution from everybody. Everyone is contributing. Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Zaire Williams. Even Ben, the useless Simmons, is having his moments. Jalen Wilson, Clowney occasionally, Schroeder, obviously, and more impressively and most importantly, Cam Johnson. He has looked like the player we all hoped he would become and what people and scouts have thought he could become when he was first drafted 7 years ago. He is having career numbers, averaging well over 18 points a game, shooting well over 40% from 3, and just being aggressive. And he was a big reason by scoring 34 points of why the Nets won against the Hornets. And he is really kind of establishing himself right now with this Nets team as the second scoring option next to Cam Thomas. And in Cam Thomas's absence, what is the second scorer supposed to do? Become the primary scorer. And he was in that game against the Hornets. And look, I'm going to be honest, I got to tip my cap to Cam Johnson. He is just looking great. And I've been very impressed with him. But like I said, the whole Nets team is looking great. There's not one player right now on this roster that checks in that I'm like, why is this guy playing? Trendon Watford came back and after his injury, and he had big moments in that Hornets win, using his size and finishing around the basket. They're almost giving him the ball at the end of the game and running the offense through him. We've seen the production from people like even Shake Milton making shots and plays here and there, right? Like everybody on this Nets team is contributing. Keon Johnson has had his moments. I mean, it's impressive. And it's just impressive because even when this team is undermanned or is looks like they're going to be out of it, they buckle down and they fight back. Like the first Knicks game in which the Nets lost by 2. After they were down by 21 going into the third quarter, and then battled back to actually take the lead by 2 by 1 before that 3 made by Jalen Brunson. But that just goes to show you Even being down by 20 points going into in the third quarter, this team doesn't give up. And honestly, other than the Celtics loss, they've been in every game. And even in that Celtics loss, the second time they played the Celtics, they were in the game for most of the part, and then just things just fell apart for them going into the fourth quarter. But my point is, they play hard, they play tough, and that is a testament to Jordy Fernandez. He is a great coach, and I'm getting so many vibes that I'm getting from the 2018-2019 Nets season with Kenny Atkinson at the helm. The same type of coaching style, the same type of coaching philosophy we're seeing from Jordy Fernandez that we did from Kenny Atkinson. This team has the same exact feel of that team. And look, are they going to go 42-40 like they did then? I don't think so, because I think there's a little bit more talent on that Nets team, but there's no doubt that this Nets team has the potential to be a very good and respectable team in the NBA. And look, the Nets are going to have to make a decision. They are. They're going to have to pick a path. They're either going to have to stay the course and see what happens and don't trade anyone and try to be competitive. Maybe they make a small move to try to improve the team at the trade deadline and go for the play-in and try to make some noise and see what happens over the offseason. Or they're going to have to try to trade some of these veterans and some of these players like Cam Johnson and make sure that they finish in the bottom 5 of the league and get a top draft pick. Because right now, they're right in the middle. And that is honestly not where you want to be if you really want to build your team. But it's at no fault right now of the Nets right now. Because, like, of course, they're going to play harder, they're going to win. So Sean Marks has to make a decision. Now, and luckily, he doesn't have to make the decision yet. And I don't think he's going to. I think we're going to see from this Nets team is we're going to see the Nets continue down this path, continue to play hard, and evaluate as we get closer to the trade deadline what is going on. If this Nets team is still in the thick of things in the playoffs, right there in the play-in, or maybe even, sniffing the 6th seed, which I don't think so, but I think they'll be right in the play-in. Maybe they go out there and they make a move to try to solidify that. If they start sliding a little bit, and they find themselves kind of on the outside looking in, maybe the 11th seed in the East, maybe they blow it up. And it's still early on. Like I said, 15 games. But the fact is, this team is right there right now and it could go either direction. And I think that is actually a good thing. I know I've been harping about it and saying, oh, the Nets are screwing up at sucking, leaving them to fail at sucking, which is true. They are doing that. But the reality is, with the draft picks they have, the young players they have, the contracts that they have coming off the books with the cap space, they could pivot any direction. And that's what Sean Marks wanted to do. So, look, it's not much to complain about. There really isn't. There's not much. And with that being said, I guess we should just wrap up this episode because they're, like I said, the Nets are a tough, gritty team. They've been in every game. They're playing well. They can pivot any direction. Not much more to talk about. Cam Johnson's looked good. We'll see what happens with Cam Thomas and how long he's going to be out. Hopefully Claxton comes back soon, and then we can really kind of see more of this team as a whole. Maybe Daron Sharp will be coming back sooner rather than later. We'll see. But before we end this episode, let's just take a look at the next couple games for the Nets. Still not an easy stretch of games for this Nets team after they had a very tough stretch of games. So the next game is against the 76ers. It's another in-season tournament cup game. Look, the 76ers, I don't know what's going on with that team. Nobody knows. Joel Embiid is not playing, then he is playing, then he's playing like crap, and then he says he's going to take time off, and no one knows. The reality is the 76ers are or should be a better team than the Nets, even though they have, I think, one of the worst records in the NBA right now. So I'm not going to say the Nets are going to lose that game because the 76ers are just a mess. But you would assume they're going to lose that game. But you never know because, like I said, they're a mess. So that is a winnable game. So let's just chalk that up as a possibility the Nets can win. Then they got the Kings. That's a tough game. Then the Warriors, who have looked really good this year. Then the Suns, with boy, they've looked sharp. And then the Magic twice before they play the Bulls again. So once again, you look at these stretch of games. They might be able to only win two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next 7 games again are probably, I'll say 8 games because they play the Pacers after that. Because then there's a nice little gap between the Pacers game and the Bucks game, which is when I'll probably do my next NetsBoy episode. Once again, trying to find some gaps in the schedule to do these episodes. There's a 4-game gap between the Pacers and Bucks. So the next 8 games, 76ers, Kings, Warriors, Suns, Magic, Bulls, Pacers, the Nets might be able to win 2 or 3 of those games. And I honestly think they're going to go 2-6. And you know what? That's good. I'll take 2-6. Because like I said, if they go in the direction of playing hard, but losing these games, but still being respectable and, finish with a bottom 5 record, I'm okay with it. Stick to the plan. But who knows? But that is a tough stretch, but we'll see what happens. Because look, the reality is they could go 4-4 because this is a very tough, gritty team. And they could catch a team, one of those better teams on a bad night. They could beat every one of those teams. They really can. I'm not going to sit here and say they can't. So I guess we'll see what happens. So let me know what you guys think about everything. Let me know what you guys think about the play of Cam Johnson. If you agree with me, there's not really one player that really sucks on the Nets right now. If you agree about the flexibility of what they're going to try to do, they have options. And if you also agree that Coach Fernandez looks solid and this Nets team looks like a good, tough, fun, gritty team, let me know about everything. And until the next NetsBoy, this is NetsBoy signing off.